Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Bravo with Sheila. Listen, tonight is lit. I'm excited. You can tell I'm all charged up. I'm always charged up when I get on the platform and have incredible guests or just have myself chatting with you. You guys know who I am, Bravo with Sheila. You know I say give yourself a bravo. You don't need permission. Give yourself a bravo anyway. You put your hand on your heart, your chest, your mind, your soul, wherever you need encouragement. Don't you dare wait for somebody to come and encourage you. You encourage yourself. You know, David said, I got to encourage myself because sometimes you look around and you don't see the folk there to help you or to give you a push or a shove. But tonight, listen, I want to get out the way and get started. I have some incredible guests tonight. We're talking about boomers. We're talking about millennials. We're talking about Gen Z. We're going to squeeze the Gen X in there because it's so much chatter and conversation about these different generations. And I thought this conversation was definitely an important conversation to talk about in these YouTube streets. M. Mills, good evening. How are you, my dear Bravette? I hope that you're fine. We got some great information tonight. We're just going to have a good time. I got the Brave Bros. I've given the brothers a name, the Brave Bros, right? The Brave Bros. I can't leave the men out. So we have the Bravettes. So we also have some Brave Bros on here, and we might have some Brave Bros in the chat. Tonight, we are talking about the boomers. We're talking about the millennials. We are talking about the Gen Zs. We're going to kick in the Gen Xs in there. We're just going to have a good time. Some of my guests can't stay for the duration. So you know what I want to do? I want to get into it. I really want to get into it. I want to get my Facebook page linked. It's supposed to be linked as we speak. Let's see where it is. And I want to just get into this. So listen, I want to bring up my guests. I really want to bring up my guests. And I could not even do justice to them and getting, information. And if I talk about each one of them individually, it'll be like 10, 15 minutes a piece, right? And then we'll be at the hour. So I kind of got some snippets of who they are. You say I'm a baby boomer. All right now. Oh, so good to see you, my friend. You look great. God bless you, Sandra Moore from Florida, my dear prophetess. How are you? Oh my God, I'm so glad to see you. And so listen, we're having a good day, a good night here. It's a wonderful day here on Bravo with Sheila. And we're talking about the millennials, the boomers, and we're talking about the Gen Zs, and we're going to squeeze in the Gen Xs. But without further ado, I want to start off with this intro. I'm going to play my little intro for you because what are we doing tonight? We're raising the bar. That's what we're doing. We're raising the bar. Are you ready? I don't know. Technical difficulties. Let's keep moving. I said, are you ready? Been cutting up all night, all day. We're going to have to do something. All the YouTubers in the street, I won't say all, but some of us YouTubers have been talking about StreamYard. They're going to have to tighten up their game a little bit because we've been having some technical difficulties. But nevertheless, let's keep it moving. I want to bring to the Bravo platform my sister from another mother, Kathleen. Here we go. Kathleen, here she is, short for Kathy. Kathleen, pick me. Listen, whatever you want. She don't mind. Walker, all three names is fine with her. Kathleen Walker is a community activist, New York City Parks and Recreation manager, concert promoter, and a graduate of St. Augustine College. I can't tell you her resume. All right, just understand it's too much to tell. Let me bring somebody else to the stage here. Let me pull people up. Let me see who we got here. Adisa. I didn't know Adisa. You didn't confirm Adisa. All right, Adisa, I'll pull you up in a minute. I got my brother up here. I'm so excited about him. He has been on this platform 2 or 3 times. He is the relationship coach. How you doing, brother Reggie? How are you?
Hey, Sheila, what's happening?
Listen, Reggie is from Las Vegas, originally from Philadelphia. All right. See Reggie Rogers, CEO of Connoisseur Entertainment and the #1 relationship coach. It's so much to talk about him, but I can't give you a list about him either. Thank you for being here again. Thank you. All of you Bravettes in the chat. I see you, Ine. I see you, M. Mills. Thank you so much for being here. Let me pull somebody else up to the stage. What happened to my two brothers? Did they drop off? I don't see them. All right, let's see what happened to my OnStar. And oh, there he is. There he is. All right, so here we have to the stage. This is, I call him nephew. He called me auntie. I've adopted him. He's given me the rights to adopt him. This is OnStar, ladies and gentlemen, and he's from New York City, MC. He's about the hip hop game. He's a youth activist, and some of his credits are the Waffle NYC, Roxanne, Wildin' Out, The Wheels film. Listen, been on Ellen 2 times. TikTok crazy person, just out there. And he does collabs with Clean Money Music on all the stages in Harlem. Entertainment, listen, you just gotta check him out. I can't tell you everything. And you see how you spell his name, OnStar. OnStar is a hip hop giant, and he's my nephew. I adopted him. And then we got Superstar. Well, I don't know what happened to Superstar. Everyone's saying hello to you guys. I'm going to put them comments up in a minute to let you see who is here. I do not see Superstar, so I'm going to put Adisa. Adisa, I don't have any information on you, but I know who you are. Female gangster. No, female rapper. She is powerful on the stage with the microphone. She's not new to the business, but she's getting a lot of exposure in different places. Positive. These gentlemen and ladies on this platform want you to know I represent clean music. They're rappers and they're breaking down doors with their clean lyrics, their positive lyrics, and they're doing great things. You won't ever hear them talking about the BITCs and the total respect for women. And I mean, I'm not going to turn OnStar or Tare loose because they are total community activists. They're for the youth. And I have a really, really, really good group of people here tonight. I don't know where Superstar Tare went, but we're going to jump into it. Is Mary on the platform? She dropped off too. Where's everybody? Okay, there's Mary. Let me add you, sweetie. Mary's from Texas. Mary is a poet. She is a poet and she's an insurance agent. She's in school now studying. What are you studying? Let me see. You told me what you are studying. You're studying some things to be a certified educator. That's what you're doing. Mary is somebody who was on the platform before. She's an incredible poet. When I tell you, her stuff is dope. The things that the Lord gives her to her spirit for the people is so powerful. Let me see if I can find Tare. Let me see there he is. Superstar, where you been? There is Tare. There he is. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Tare. I call him Superstar. As a matter of fact, he calls me auntie too because his mama up there on the top is like my sister from another mother. Tare is a rapper, a podcast host, community activist. He does a lot of work in Harlem. He graces the stage in Harlem Week. He's a speaker, and I love the fact that he spoke at the First Rise Male Conference. He's all over the place. He collabs again with Clean Money Music and does a lot of concerts in Harlem and around different states. He travels talking to youth. Adisa, I didn't forget you. Adisa is a graduate also of Virginia State. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. And I got it right. I know I don't need no paper for you. And she's doing some great things. So let's get into this. OnStar came off the screen. He got bumped off. OnStar is in California. But let's jump into this. So tonight we're talking about boomers, millennials, and Gen Zs, and we're going to squeeze in the Gen Xs. But before we do that, let's let some folks say hello to you. Sir Hell says, hello, Adisa. Tell you StreamYard is acting up, just acting up. Hello, Adisa. This is the chat. You guys who have not been on my platform, this is the first time we talk to the chat. The chat talks to us. They ask questions. We answer their questions. This is about empowerment, enrichment. This is not an interview. This is about raising the bar and offering information to the youth and young people, old people, whoever. Just total empowerment. That's what we're doing here. Good evening, Sir Hale. Listen, Sir Hale, I'm in the Sir Hale circle. Yes, I am. And if y'all don't know who Sir Hale is, you need to find out. You need to jump on YouTube, go to Sir Hale Speaks, and click on that subscribe button. You would love the platform, and we do things together, and they're always here supporting. So let's get into this. I didn't forget anybody, right? So let's talk about the boomers, the millennials, and the Gen Zs. Let's jump into first. And what I'm going to do is break it down in a couple of sections, and I want you guys to feel free. Now, because it's so many of us up here, if you want to say something and someone's speaking, just put your hand up. Just put your little finger up like your little church finger, like you won't get them to go to the late. No, just put your finger up and say, I want to add to that. I want to add to that. So baby boom is often shortened to say that they are boomers, are the demographic cohort following the silent generation and preaching generation X. The generation is often defined as people born from 1946 to 1964 during the post-war II baby boom. Some characteristics: a strong work ethic, not afraid to put on hard work, independent, self-assured, and disciplined. Each one of these generations have so much to offer. But what I'd like you guys to talk about tonight is the information you have and how any of these generations have affected you, infected you, pushed you forward, and how you've received from this generation. And I want the young people, that means Adisa, OnStar, and Superstar, Tare, I want you to really light in to clear up this information about young people. You guys don't know where you're going. They say your generation is indecisive. They say that you guys are lazy. All of these things. This is what it says out there. I know different, but we do have a pocket of people that you need to speak to because you guys have been doing some great things. The millennials. Millennials refer to individuals who were born between the 80s, 1980s, and 2000. I know I spoke to Tare a couple of weeks ago. I said, are you a Gen Z? He's like, Auntie, I ain't no Gen Z. I'm a millennial. I'm 26 now. I had to I was like, no, you're not. You still 25. He was like, no. So the millennials refers to individuals who were born between the 1980s and early 2000. And they are largely the children of people who are part of the baby boomers demographic cohort. They are also referred to as echo boomers. Millennials are likely the most studied and talked about. This generation to date is the first generation that has grown up totally immersed in a world of digital technology, which has shaped their identities and created lasting political, social, and cultural attitudes. Now, there is a quote that some newspaper, the New York Times, said that millennials are narcissistic, lazy, and indecisive. But I say millennials compared to earlier generations make less when adjusting for inflation, facing financial problems like massive student loans. Those who work minimum wage jobs see the biggest disparity. That's the pros and cons and the different things. Now, I want to stop there so we could weigh in a little bit with the millennials, because we have some millennials on here, and I'm a baby boomer. I think I shout that on YouTube all the time. No shame in my game, right? And I come from a generation where I wasn't allowed to say much when parents were speaking. I know I couldn't. They said, you don't speak. You let the grown folk talk. If you have an opinion, you hold your opinion, because they thought that was talking back, right? And so a lot of times I wanted to say some things, and I couldn't. And they says hello to Sir Hale. So, oh, you know how we do it here. So we got the Bravettes in the chat, and we got a few brave bros. That's right, the men. Sir Hale, brave bro. That's you. And those on Facebook that are guys. That's right. I couldn't leave you out. I had to give you a name. I think OnStar fell off. He is in California, so he's having a little difficulty with his internet or whatever. But I'd like to start out asking some questions, just a couple of questions. And I want you to jump in. And remember, if you want to add to what someone is saying, just hold your finger up so I don't bypass you. As far as I'm concerned, there were some things that I was raised with and taught. And as I became older, a lot of that stuff I wasn't able to use because time shifted, things changed, and people would say I'm antiquated, like I'm obsolete, right? Especially now when I speak to the Gen Zs. Oh my God, it's not like that no more. What's wrong with you, lady? I'm like, what do you mean? Because some things are traditional that don't need to be changed, but I guess there's some adjustments that each generation needs to adjust to. In the Bible, I love this story where we talk about the tare and the wheat and the weeds and the wheat and the weeds. And it talks about how both weeds and wheat have to grow up together. Although the weed don't have too many functions, but you can't pull the weed up. I see you on Star. You can't pull the weed away from the wheat as it's growing. The tares and the weed, or you want to say weeds and wheat. It says you got to let them grow together, and then after it comes to full maturity, you pull those weeds out and you throw that stuff away. You get rid of it. It just blows in the wind, right? So with us in generations, there have been some things that I had to adjust and get rid of because it didn't work for me anymore, and it definitely didn't work for my children who are millennials. So I want to know what you guys experience with your generation, what's going on, and anybody could jump in and just tell me their thought about what I'm talking about, and especially about the young people, because the young people are getting like some bad press here because of behavior, because they say they're not focused, because they're too techie, and they throw away all the jewels with manners and discipline. And I see that happens, but I do see so many great things that's happening with young people that are some of the things I wish I had when I was growing up. So who wants to jump in first and talk about what we're talking about, whether you want to talk about the millennials or the boomers, and then we'll get to the Gen Zs. I want to know your experience with it. And please, someone, I'm going to just let you jump in.
Okay, I'll go first.
Go first, Tare.
Well, I was born in '96. I made the cut. I just wanted to throw that out there. That I am a millennial. You feel me? Just me and D are millennials. All right, just had to throw that out there. But I think that we were born in such an interesting time. When you was giving your description, I kind of, in a way, disagree on millennials, on us being fully immersed into technology. I do remember, a time where I wasn't on, the internet. The internet wasn't exactly a thing yet. And then, of course, by the time I was, middle school, it started to kind of slow up, and Apple started building up. And then by high school, then we was, fully immersed in it. But with Gen Z, they are, a generation that is 100% fully, born into the internet, born into the matrix, as you would call it. So I definitely, having those few years, I can appreciate and be able to just see the difference of being on the internet and being off of it, and knowing that I can live without it,
Okay.
Also, I just wanted to say one thing as far as just being a millennial that obviously is current right now, what everybody's talking about. Compared to any other generation, our generation has seen it all. We have seen mass shootings,
Mm-hmm.
We've been through a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We've, you know, if you're 96, then yeah, you seen 9/11, which means we've seen terrorist attacks,
Yes.
war. Um, so I mean, we've seen so much tragedy um, in our lives that we have become numb to it. It's so normal to us now.
Mm.
And I think that's, kind of crazy with me only being 26 and being numb to this type of stuff. Of, oh, here's another one. Oh, yeah, okay. It is what it is. Um, so I think with that on top of the internet, I think, millennials are very misunderstood as
Mm.
far as
You know
the
what?
things that we are being dumped upon us and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I hear you. And that is something, what you're saying, because that is so true. The things that you've seen, the things that you have seen, we feel for, the young people and their experience and what they're intaking in their system of their being, with all of the things that you have no choice in certain matters, and you have to learn how to navigate through so much. I see you, on start jump in. I see you. I hear you. I hear your brain.
No, I'm listening right now. I'm downloading.
You download it. Okay, we'll come back to you. Okay, Mary.
As an Xer here, because I was born in '70. Um, Tare, you said a lot, and everything you've said as far as what the millennials have seen and experienced, it's all been on world scope. It hasn't been, just as far as localized. You understand what I'm saying? And in some aspects, everybody after the millennials going forward, and just in recalling, I don't see a point in time of when any generation after the millennials have had a sense of peace, have had a
Mm,
sense of let us stop and digest what has just taken place,
mm,
you know, and I as a Xer, I can't begin to understand how we don't have more millennials up in the air. I don't understand because you guys have not had a situation, you guys have not had a moment in time where you could say, oh, we won't have a war, a pandemic, a terrorist, a fight, mass shootings. We won't have this week, this year.
mm,
This
mm-hmm,
I don't I applaud you guys because in everything that is taking place, you guys are still fighting and y'all still functioning and y'all are still out there
existing.
advocating and
Yeah,
y'all still want peace and y'all still want understanding.
yeah.
And then we
I,
get us folks saying that you guys are lazy, but you can't be lazy. Y'all haven't had an opportunity to learn how to be lazy.
yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good, Mary. Anybody else want to chime in with that? Adisa, I see you. Jump in. Kat, you go after Adisa. Okay.
Sure.
I was just thinking, because it is like I agree with what they were saying, and I also just remember that point in time where it was my freshman year of college, and this is like from my experience, this was like my first police brutality situation where everything was just like, okay, we got to do something about these cops. So up until like I knew, that was the whole thing. We didn't like the cops. But once I went to college, my freshman year, I always said like I was revolutionized. Like I was on go. Like, so it was a lot of like org workshops, and everybody's talking about what we're gonna do to fight this, like how we gonna fight the power and all that. And I remember going home after being in college, going home to my family, and just everybody was kind of disconnected to me or numb. Like,
Mm,
my mom, my family, it just seemed like everybody wasn't caring as much as I did. When I was in college, I was so empowered. I just felt like, oh, something has to be done. Like when I got home, I was angry. Like I would always like
mm,
cry or something like that. I was angry when I went home. And like just to be home and feel like, wow, my family doesn't really care that much. But then I had to think, even though, you know, we've experienced so much as millennials, I feel like generations before us, you guys experienced this too. Like, so I hear sometimes like, oh, this is just a cycle. Like this been happening. Like we've seen this all the time. So just how now we are numb, that's how my family is. My family is older. Is like, yeah, you know, we care, we feel this, but we're like numb too. So that was my first experience of being enraged and being angry and being mad, and then getting like an experience from them where it's like we're mad too, but like we're reaching that point of like, you know, hopelessness in a way. Like, okay, there's nothing we can do about it. Like we could be sad, but it's like, so it's like I do have like kind of a different experience with it because I had to get mad at that, but then understand, because that's where I'm at now. When I see things happen and I'm just like, oh well, here we go again. Like I feel so small. I feel so hopeless about what am I gonna do. And then I look at myself and I'm like, okay, well, I'm 25 and I don't have this much power, this much voice. Is like when we looked at Malcolm X and, you know, things like that. And it's like, who do we have now? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, mine is a little different.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You're right. We have seen some things. My generation, the rioting, you know, the death. You know, my generation, it was crazy. You know, when something happened, it was fires and it was a lot of police brutality. It was a lot going on, right? And so you're right. Things keep cycling around. Kathy.
Yes. So what I was going to say with the millennials, I think that they have the best of both worlds, right? So they have the good and the bad, but they have the best of both worlds, which to me will make them stronger as individuals growing up in their society. Because just like what Tare was saying, the idea that during his years growing up, he was able to play table games, socialization, all that type of stuff. It wasn't all tech. Tech came later with Gen Z. They're definitely into the tech part, you know. But when you have that balance, that's what makes you a all around better individual instead of just being tech. You have to be able to have both. Just like when we was in school, the boomers, you know, there was phonics and they was hooked on phonics and they're like phonics. You learn your vowels, you learn how to pronounce words, you learn how to
Right.
do these things that is now phonics is not in school no more. You
Right.
know, that was all part of growing up, even
True.
for your group that was part of growing up. Now they have to figure it out themselves. So you're kind of in the best of both worlds, but you
Mm.
also was able to see President Obama. You was
Right.
also for Malcolm, well, Ty
Right.
Dre and the rest of y'all. Brandy was Cinderella. So you got
Right.
those type of heroes. You was able to
Right.
get that. To me, that gives y'all the better balance than a Gen Z that is trying to figure out who the heroes are, where the
Right.
heroes are. All I know is Black Lives Matter and crime,
Right.
etc. So I feel
That's
that y'all
good.
in a good place.
That's good. And as you say that, they say managing with millennials is they create strong community. That's what they're about now. They
Yep.
are to help offer work-life balanced environment and take advantage of their tech savviness,
Yep.
right? Because you can learn so much. They'll push somebody like me forward, right? How do I know how to do all these things? Sometimes I go places, they say, you know how to do that? My grandmother don't even know how to do a text. I'd be like, what? Like, you know, I'm not going to be left back there like that. It
Right.
says recognize their work, the work that they've done, the
Right.
work that they're doing. You know, it's a new day, it's a new creativity, and it's a new message, and encourage collaborations. This is what they're saying about millennials. So don't mind OnStar. He's in and out because I told you guys he's outside in California. Who wants to jump in now? See Reggie Rogers, what you got?
Oh, well, I mean, I think it's a definitely a great topic, a great conversation, but I think it really boils down to getting an understanding that with every generation there comes a greater elevation. But with that elevation, it produces new revelations. So that's new understandings because I think that there's once you understand that there are differences that exist, then you know how to approach every situation so that we get the understanding. Because with every generation, of course, it brings a difference in understanding.
Mhm.
But I think it's really quality versus quantity.
Mm.
And when I say that, I just simply mean, especially as because baby boomers are fading out.
Don't say that.
So, well, I
Got
mean,
you.
it's reality though. Baby boomers we're
Yeah.
fading out,
Yes, I know.
and Gen X, and then so that means Gen X and millennials are going to take more of the
Absolutely.
positions that the baby boomers are fading away from. So
Absolutely.
without question, Gen X and millennials and Gen Z, they've got to be more flexible in
Yeah.
where and how and what they do. I don't know that the generation before was as flexible because we had to have a staff. We had to have face to face every day. They don't operate like that. They don't need a staff. They don't need to see people face to face every day. And they
Yeah.
can still maintain and continue to move and produce and still be
Yeah.
effective.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
So I just think it's really an understanding. Instead of trying to make them what I am, I need to hear where they are.
Exactly.
So instead of them trying to make me be what they are, they need to hear where I've been
Right.
because they can't get there unless they get an understanding of where they've come from. So I bring the understanding of where we've come from. They bring the understanding of where, in essence, we're going.
That's
Right.
But it all works together.
Yeah.
It all works together. And that's a good point. That's a good point because I know I've had some conversations with my daughter who's a millennial, and it was just yesterday, and she's like, no, it's not like that. No, you're not listening. No. I said, no, I hear you, but I don't agree. I understand what you're saying. And she's like, but no, Ma, you don't understand. It's not like that no more. That doesn't work like that. I'm like, well, certain things you can't undo or untie, right? Certain things you have to embrace that did work that you could use, opposed to just not hearing like what you're saying. We have to hear each other and not force anything, but just receive the information, because what I say, you may need it in 10 years when I'm not here. So you understand what I'm saying? You can't throw things away because it doesn't sound like the thing. It's not the trend. You have to really embrace what someone that's, the wisdom. It's the wisdom of someone else. The color and the TV screen might have changed, but certain jewels don't change, right? But we do have to remain flexible but firm in our belief system. And she was going at it, and I said, you know what? We're not going to get where we're going right now. No, because my daughter when she's wrong, she's right. So, when you know your kids, you know your kids. And so I was like, okay, I yield. You'll figure it out down the road. You'll pick it up on the way out somewhere. But that is so important, Reggie, to have that understanding that you don't throw everything away. And we have to hear the new generation. You're right. Because you're right. The baby boomers, like my brother reminds me all the time, sister, we on our last quarter. I said, look, I don't need to hear that. Yeah, in reality, he says more behind us than in front of us. He means in terms of years. That's reality.
Yeah.
It is reality.
It is a total reality.
And Sheila, baby boomers, I mean, when you look at the complexities of how everything lines, boomers are slower to embrace social media.
Mm-hmm.
Say that
We're
again.
slower, boomers are slower to embrace social media.
That's true.
Like LinkedIn, Twitter. In fact, I think I've read something, I think it's 17% of boomers, only 17% of boomers use Twitter.
Yeah.
24% use LinkedIn.
Well, I try to stay. I hear what you're saying, and you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Even
the boomers that are in business, Reggie, that need these platforms for success, the boomers that, like you said, they kick against this social media, and they don't understand if you're in business and you're not on LinkedIn, They're like, linked who? Twitter who? And their business is declining a bit because they're not fast forward. They're not staying on the beat of time. Mem Mill says exactly. I now see all the things my parents and grandparents were saying. Exactly. You don't throw everything away. You just don't. You just don't. I do go back and forth to the comments because people are listening and they're embracing what's being said. Brianna Marquez, that's my niece. She said, that's good stuff. Let me pull up another comment because you guys know that I interact. This is not, I don't block out our viewers and we chat. This is a chat. And Mill says that sorry.
I was going to say, let me add something there because I think it's important. There was another stat that's staggering. It said that 68% of baby boomers feel that younger people don't have a strong work ethic. 68% of baby boomers feel that younger people don't have that same work ethic. So, but what they don't understand, and that's about getting that understanding again, what they don't understand is they just figured a way how to work smarter and not harder.
Yep.
That's it right there.
Yep.
Part.
That's it.
Yep.
Good evening to all of you who are coming into the chat. While you come in, please hit that like button as you come into the chat. Go ahead and hit that like button. And if you have not been here before, go ahead and subscribe to the channel for me. Red Lipstick Vibes, God bless you. Thanks for being here. Good evening to you. She's saying good evening to the panel. Let's keep it moving. Yeah, that is so true. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we hot now. We hot. Everybody ready to go. We hot. Got fingers going up. People want to jump in now. I like that. I like it. Who wants to go next?
Go ahead, Adisa.
Oh, I was just gonna say something short. I feel like one thing about working is that now us millennials and probably Gen Z too, we are not like, we don't want to suffer in work. So I feel like we're not going to just work just because that's the way. Like, we're not going to say, okay, I'm going to do this. Even though I hate what I'm doing, I'm going to do it just because, like, if we don't like something now, it's like, I'm done. Like, I have friends that, like, quit jobs, like, on a drop of a nail if they're not liking what's going on. And
look at that comment right there that Brianna. Look at that. As you say that, look what Brianna just put up.
Yeah, Brianna,
Not only that, but millennials want to be business owners. We aren't settling for less.
I don't know which finger to put up. The difference between everybody after Gen X, and I'm saying everybody after Gen X, is that before Gen X, we were conditioned to go to school, go to college, get a job, work 40 years, retire on whatever we were given. Okay? We were given. Everybody after the millennials, they are out to take. They know what they want early in life. They fight to get what they want early in life, and they don't wait for anybody to give it to them. But those of us who are in that Gen X and baby boomers, we were conditioned, this is what we're going to give you. This is your pay scale.
Exactly.
This is where you are for where you are. You guys are not waiting. And like you said, if we don't like it, if you guys don't like it, I see you, I'm out. And y'all find it.
It's true. I had a lot of learned behavior and environmental impact, in my house. I had a lot of love, but a lot of jewels and push that I feel now, I could have gotten some mother. My mother wasn't stuck. Oh, you got to go to college. It wasn't until after I had kids. She was like, well, you can go to college now. You don't have to go. You just got to graduate high school. Graduate for me. That was the mentality. Yes, C. Rogers.
No, I totally agree with Mary Hall because I feel like our generation, we were institutionalized. And being institutionalized, you look for someone to tell you how, when, and where.
Me too.
How it's supposed to be
Absolutely.
done, when it's
Yeah.
No
supposed to be
problem.
done, and
Have a great day.
where it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
And that was the whole goal, to keep us institutionalized so that they could keep us penalized for us
Yeah.
um, being because 3% 3% of America runs America. That's the elite. 97% work for the 3%. So
Mhm.
the only way to keep us institutionalized is to keep the 97% continually working for the 3%. But the reason that America is having the issues that it's having right now is because these generations under us are waking up and saying, we don't have to deal with this, nor do
That's
we have to do this. We don't have to do this. We
It's
don't have
true.
to look for the when, the why, the how, nor the where. So the issue is they're afraid because we're coming into our own and we're breaking out of this institutional mentality.
that's
And
right.
that's their problem with us.
And that's when they start labeling, saying they're disrespectful, they're
Huh.
going against the grain, they shouldn't be doing it that way. I mean, and I do see sometimes, the respect level has dropped, but I still think that, I see a lot of, the respect needs to be tweaked a little bit in terms of
Mhm.
how to respect your elders, because that seemed like that's thrown out the window. Respecting your elders, just normal respect, right? And that, so each generation has something that they can tweak even at this point, right? But a lot of, when I ask the
Mhm.
question, what do you feel was not given, they feel like the generation before dropped the ball and giving them the tools, especially the young people that grow up and without mothers, without fathers, the young men that grow up that didn't have a mentor or a father to pour into them, or a young girl whose father was not in the household, who lost, everything to the street, or lost everything to finding their own way, right? And people are
Yeah.
quick to judge because you
Mhm.
don't know the tools that someone else had. You don't know what they had or didn't have, so you can't put your mouth on certain people. Now, I do believe the respect level, because this generation is wide open now. Let's call a spade a spade. They wide open. But I believe that if you were raised with certain values and whatever, you don't fall far from that. But then look how many of our people and our children and young people did not have that, did not get the tools, did not or do not know how to navigate through life, and they're finding their way through. And no one older wants to mentor. No one wants to
Mhm.
take the time, instead of
Mhm.
pointing a finger, to pour into
Mhm.
them. It says, let me
Mhm.
show you how to do that. Let me show
Yep.
you how to tie a tie.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Let me show you a fork to pick up when you at a 5-course meal. Let me show you a glass you touch before you touch this one. How do
Yeah.
you expect generations, or the generations we're talking about right now, to have or to be able to do if they don't have a model?
Right.
Kathy?
And baby boomers sometimes get into the thing of, like you say, just in their old ways, as you might say, or just the way they was raised, or you have to allow the younger generations, you have to allow them to be creative. You cannot say this is the way it's done all the time. If you're a supervisor or a boss, you have to be able to give them a challenge, give them a platform so that they can let them show you what they can do with what's going on right now. There's a lot of baby boomers that absolutely do not do that. It's either this way or no
Mhm.
way. And
My way or no way.
this is
That's
when
right.
now they end up going from job to job to job, because whatever they had that was creative for them to display,
Yeah.
they never get that opportunity
Yeah.
because the person doesn't want to change.
Or they
And
don't want
that's
to
not
receive it.
helping. That's not helping. That's actually making it worse, you know?
Yeah. So, yes. Yes, see, Reggie.
So I just was going to say, what we really see happening is a melting pot of beliefs,
Mm.
a melting pot of culture,
Mhm.
you got a melting pot of work ethic. So what that does is it creates something extremely fascinating, but it also creates something extremely challenging. And for those of us that can embrace how fascinating it can be and how fascinating it is, and then you have those who embrace how challenging it is, and we focus on the challenges. But I think that if we shift that and not focus so much on the challenges, but if we shift that and focus on how do we bridge this gap so
Right.
that there is this
Yeah.
understanding, then what we would begin to see is this coexistence in an unprecedented manner. That if Sheila can now impart into, we'll say, Mary Hall or Adisa. So Sheila's imparting into Adisa and Mary Hall. So the principle is you
Mm-hmm.
you never you never you never confess down. You always minister up.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
right.
how the that's how the strength rolls.
That's right.
Because
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make sense for me to confess down, because if I'm confessing down, the person down is probably lower than I am. So I got to confess up.
That's up.
So we take our positions instead of looking at it as a challenge. Let's begin to impart, and now that'll shift.
That's
Yeah.
And
right.
then what we begin to see is this very fascinating coexistence of diversity
Yes.
among how we think, how we believe, and how we work.
Yeah. I want to ask Tadre and Adisa and OnStar, what in the area and you're moving each day in your lifetime right now, what are some of the barriers that your generation face that I necessarily wouldn't even see because I'm not a part of it on that level?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the barriers that and how do you think people like us who have been here before you can help or not even that, just answer that one part. What are the barriers that you see? You guys are in hip hop, you guys are in all types of environments, not just hip hop. You're in one minute you may be in a boardroom, one minute you may be on a movie set, one minute you may be in a bank. You're so versatile. You know you have dreams and visions, which is taking you in different arenas. What is it like? OnStar is in California right now. He's been out there doing all types of stuff. Ty Dre has got all types of things on his plate that he's getting ready to do. And Adisa, you guys are, have done a lot. I want to know what are some of the barriers of your group, your culture right now that is blocking the rest of your friends. What do you see in your group? What are y'all saying to each other? Anybody could jump in. The three of you. I just wanted to come from you guys. Tadre?
Oh, I was gonna try to see if All-Star could talk.
Yeah, he keep jumping in and out. We're gonna get him though.
Ah,
We gonna
I
get him.
thought we was almost had him. I thought we had
We
him.
almost had him. Wait,
Uh
here he is. Hold on. Here he is.
oh,
Wait,
on,
let's see if
can
let's
you
see if
hear
he got
on?
something to say.
You get 5
On
seconds.
start, they're passing the mic to you. Tadre's passing the mic to you to answer that question.
Okay, as y'all been seeing, I've been in and out because of technical difficulties with my internet, but trying to
Yeah,
make sure I keep up with what's going on and what's being said. I believe the question was, what is the barriers that we face?
yeah.
I would say one of the biggest barriers is navigating the unknown spaces that nobody has traveled before us.
Mm.
And how do you ask for assistance where nobody has gone yet?
Ooh.
Um, and that might sound a little bit like far fetched in the sense of there's nothing new under the sun, but we have to
Those. un- Go ahead. Go ahead. No, no. He'll
Dang,
be
he was
back.
preaching too.
That. Hold on. That's good. What he
Mm.
just said. Are you back on star? Yeah, he's got
We
the bad
can't.
internet where he is.
Yeah.
No.
No, maybe if he moves somewhere.
Mhm.
But what do you think about that?
I
How
mean,
can I help? How
I
can
agree with
I
him.
help you if you didn't? You haven't been. I haven't even been where you're saying
Right.
you don't even know where it is, or what it is, or what it intakes. How can you? You can't even describe it.
Yeah, I mean, oh wait, here you go. On.
Yeah,
Are we back?
Yeah, we got you.
So yeah, I've been dealing with this since I've been on. So I've been hearing
it's
only bits and
okay.
pieces.
We know where you are.
Um, yeah. So I would say that like just navigating new spaces altogether, like this generation now. Wait, I was born 1991. So what generation am I in?
You're millennial.
You're a millennial.
Okay, copy.
You
Just wanted to
just
make clear.
make. You're a millennial.
Want to be clear. So the
Yeah.
millennials, like, we really have to carry everything that has happened before us into a new space, like a whole new space. And what I find is, especially within the hip hop community,
Darn it.
I know. In the hip hop community.
No, no. Dang.
Maybe he
And
could
you
try to
probably put it
comment.
in too. Oh, man.
Oh wow. He'll come back. He'll come back. But he's making a lot of sense. He's saying, so Tadre, you want to you want to jump in, or Adisa?
Uh,
I know
um,
you want to hear what OnStar. I know you want to hear what he, because we know how deep the brother is. Go ahead.
as you can see, my internet is not interneting how it's supposed to. And somehow the millennials are going to get blamed for that one too. But
You're not
I
a
think
Gen
y'all do
Z.
every damn thing. Can't keep the internet working. Look at that. Can't even. No, but no, to stay in a short span of words, basically, when it comes to hip hop, there's a lot of people who like started it and then they left us to fend for something that they
No.
started.
Oh man.
I know.
Dang.
I don't know. He's frustrated too.
So, yeah,
We
because
got
you
to
know
keep
he
it
want to get
moving.
the point.
So,
Yeah.
Disa, why don't you jump in?
Um, I honestly like I'm still trying to think of what my barrier is, to be honest. But what he said about like uncharted spaces and new spaces, I mean, I feel like just how the generations before us, they had to figure it out what worked for them. That's what we have to do. Simply,
Mm,
like, nobody's ever been here. We can't ask for advice, so we know, we have common sense. We just move on what we think is best. Um, yeah, to be honest, based on what he was saying with that.
that makes sense. That makes sense. That's good. How about you, Tydre?
um,
I mean, because
yeah,
you're in the hip hop world, you're in all types of environments. You're an entrepreneur, you're doing all types of things. He's back. We got to let you finish your thought.
Okay, okay. God,
Oh, well, you
please let this internet work. Father, we love you.
Yeah.
All right.
Father, we love
Use
you.
your power right now. Surge through this and make it work. Amen. Okay. When it comes to hip hop, there isn't enough stakeholders from the generation from once before. They've given up and they've left us to fend for something that they started, that we have no like recollection of what we're doing with real time entities.
Mm, mm.
So I hear a lot of, oh, it's not the same. It's not what it used to be. I don't want to hear that. And it's like, copy. We're not talking about mainstream rap. We're talking about hip hop, the community. We're talking about the grassroots, the foundation, peace, love, unity, safely having fun. It's just not showing up the way it used to when it comes to the generation that birthed what hip hop was supposed to stand for. There's not enough foundations. There's not enough present
Wow, that's real talk.
Mhm.
And there he was. He did. I don't think the Lord heard your prayer clearly. Somebody intercepted it. Yeah.
But he did get to say a major point though,
Go ahead, jump in, Tadre.
especially on just music in general. Just for son like you, Sheila, for you to fully grasp it, you know. And this goes back to the whole thing of millennials being lazy, and it was said earlier, which is we think smarter, not harder. When a lot of baby boomers don't understand the power of technology, right? And just how technology now, we're looked down upon or judged for always being on our phone. When really there are now millennials that have full blown businesses, careers, just from
Their phone.
the device in their hand.
True.
And like I said, to go back to even make it even more clear to understand, because it was said nicely by Mr. Rogers on with elevation, it causes new situations. Let's say the music industry. This is beyond hip hop, just music in itself. Back then, you can weed out who really wanted to be in the music industry, right? Because of the amount of work it took just to create a song,
Right.
and to produce a song and to put out a song.
Absolutely.
Having to put it on wax, get multiple, then having to go out in the streets, having to guerrilla team style sell it, pitch it to people on who you are right there on the spot. Maybe even have to sing something for them. Going to actual record labels, having to uh to
Yep.
pitch yourself to them as well, and
Yep.
all the
Been
nine
there,
yards. And
done
you can
that.
tell
Yep.
exactly. You could tell who really wanted it and who didn't, all the stuff like that. But nowadays, it's so easy where you can literally create a song on your phone, a full blown song, record it, upload it to the world, instantly in a week or so, and that's pushing it. You can upload it really in a second, it depends on the
Wow.
platform, and you can become the next big thing. For example, Lil Nas X, a millennial. He created us. He was making music for a while. He made Old Town Road, Country Road,
Right.
whatever it's called, and he put it on a funny video. A funny
Right.
video of a guy dressed up in cowboy gear at a bull rally and
Yep.
dancing. Put the song on top of the video, posted it on Twitter, and look where he is now.
Yeah.
A flash of a second, his career has changed. And at the same time, when it comes to, like I said, the elevations called situations, now the situation is you can't weed out, who really, really wants it, because now there's a lot of artists who are blowing up, just because of the fact that it's just the lightning in the bottle, the right perfect storm, on social media, it catches fire, and now that artist is famous,
Right.
and they didn't even really want it. They were just making music and just uploading it because that's what the
Absolutely.
internet is. It's uploading your stuff. Um,
Absolutely.
and even, that's uh, even going towards drill rappers and hood rappers and stuff like that, of rappers that's using music as a way to voice the pain that they go through in their hoods and stuff like that, or talking about their beefs with other people and stuff like
Yeah.
that, or things that they go through, and then the song blows up and now they have a career, but they haven't let go of that hood mentality and
The
stuff like that.
mentality.
And now a lot of these rappers are dying so young because they never let go of that street life.
Yes.
So I think that, like On said, it's hard to get uh I guess a leading hand for baby boomers in this unknown territory. This is completely unknown to y'all. Is really us even teaching baby boomers,
Yeah.
how the internet and all these things work. Look at the pandemic, and look at all of the millennials that took the seized the opportunity
It sees
while
that.
they had to be, inside for all of
Right.
those months. And of course, there was a lot of people that suffered. There's a lot of people that died. There's a lot of people that that didn't do anything. but there also are a lot of millennials that took advantage of it. Whether it was just starting a TikTok like myself. I just started doing that, making funny videos in the house, with my mom and with myself. And
Right.
I was able to just I blew up on it, it wasn't the intentions, but there
No,
were people that intended on like, okay, I'm not about to just sit in my
it,
house.
the same thing you guys were saying. Yeah,
Right. I'm not about to sit in my house and just do absolutely nothing. There's
nothing.
people that started getting LLCs. They
Right,
they researched what LLCs is and took
right.
advantage of that and created businesses. People that started hair businesses, people that started, designing clothes, people that became influencers on social media now. Now they
Yeah,
have a big following, and now that we back out in the
absolutely.
public, you know, they now have actual real life supporters that are now following them to events and things that they do in real life and buying whatever it is that they put out just off of the presence that they created over social media. So
Mm-hmm.
um I do agree with On and Adisa as far as like it's very unknown.
Mm,
It's very weird, but at the same time, it's a new time. I mean, it's gonna happen for us with with
yeah.
generation. What's next after Z X?
Let me, as you say that, we'll segue into Gen Zs. And I see your fingers, lady, your hands. Gen Zs is raised by tech savvy Generation X parents and of her younger generation Z peers are being raised by the tech dependent millennials. In fact, 38% of children today who are under 2 years old have used mobile devices for playing games, watching videos, or other media related purposes. Influential events that shape Gen Zs is here goes to note that some things that Kathy was saying and Mary, terrorism and war, even you said that, Tydre, social networking, smartphones, text messaging, gun violence, election of Barack Obama, shared family responsibilities. And so, yeah, let me squeeze in because we're ending soon. The Generation X. They're a demographic cohort following the baby boomers and preceding the millennials. Research and popular media use the mid to late 1960s as starting birth years and the late 1970s to early 1980s as ending birth years. With this generation being generally defined as people born from 1965 to 1980, Gen X ultimately lost 45% of their wealth by 2010, and many lost their homes entirely. Little has changed in recent years. This generation were the first cohort to come of the age of MTV, music videos, as well as alternative rock music and Walkmans and portable music, forward fashion. Generation X, aka America's neglected middle class.
Mm.
So the Gen Z, you guys are right on it. I mean, you everything you said. That's why I held back because I just felt you want to just, it was just going to come out. It was just going to flow right out of you. So we understand. And like you're saying, I can't even, okay, so we talk about what happens to you guys with COVID and all these different things. Reggie, come back that way with your camera. You laying down. Reggie, you laying down. Or is
I
it
got you.
okay? Um, and so when you think about this and you think about everything that you guys was talking about, think about the children, the babies, which we know our 2 year olds, our 1 year olds know how to work the phone, get your pictures, make a phone call. They know how to do these things, but also
Mm-hmm.
think about the interruption of their lives not being in school, not wearing masks. What does that do to your psyche? What does that do to this generation that you understand? So it just goes from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. But the Generation X, it was such a different type of dynamics going on for the Generation X. And it's, I mean, 2010, 45% losing jobs, losing property, losing homes. How many of them recovered? So now you have those people also influence who probably don't want to come along and accept the new way either, because we don't know what's going on in their psyche or what they're going through, right? So you could speak to that. Somebody speak. That is like,
You know
because I
what?
know Kathy wanted to say something. I'm gonna let Kat go first and Mary, then you go after Kat.
Yeah, I think that mine's is more of a common of a little fear with the millennial Gen Z, all of those, the X. My fear is I understand the generation of fast money, and it's all about the money, whether it's cash money or crypto, um, because that's the new nature. NFT, that's where music is coming, etc. That's where all of these platforms are now. My concern is, and I would tell any of them, is for retirement. That is not something that is discussed. That is not something they discuss. They have to know that you have to get an annuity. You have to be in a pension. That is something that this generations that are before us, that us as baby boomers, I'm sorry, that's coming after us, someone has to keep reminding them that, because of the fast money in the pace in the private business, because they are very smart, but that's something that has to come from baby boomers. So
Yeah.
that's just a message for me to say to the ones coming behind us, that please don't forget about one day you will be, as we might say, a baby boomer.
Your age can't slow the
Yeah.
clock down, right, Mary?
You know what? I'm so glad you mentioned that, Kathy, because and it's not just a retirement or a pension, because I have somebody who can do both, but
Right.
it's also life insurance.
That's
You
right.
know, we don't think at the age of 25 and 30 about life insurance,
Hmm.
but because that millennial age, because they're moving so fast,
Right.
things are happening, and through no fault of their own,
That's right.
they're passing away at a faster rate. I just went to a funeral 2 weekends ago of a 45-year-old man, and nobody could have told me that he's younger than I am.
Hmm.
So that's two things. Between the retirement and the life insurance. But the other part is, they say that Gen X, my generation, we are the forgotten generation, because in what did 10? Most of us was 40.
Hmm.
Most of us was between 38 and 45.
Hmm.
So when the stock market went down, yeah, a lot of us did lose our homes. A lot of us lost our minds
Hmm.
because we didn't know what to do.
Right.
Why? Because we weren't prepared.
Hmm.
Okay? We didn't have the retirement. We didn't have something to say, hey, we should have held back on this so that we have a rainy day slush fund. You
Hmm.
know, and the other part of that is, we're not, like you said, Kathy, we're not reminding the millennials. We're not reminding that other generation that's before us, that's after us. Hey, we understand where you are. We understand that you are more um, brain working as opposed to hands on working,
Hmm.
because we were always
Yeah.
working with our hands, where
Yeah.
the millennials, they're always working with their mind.
Yeah.
Okay, but there
Good.
are some practical things. There
Yeah.
are some practical things that we are neglecting, and you guys are absolutely right. We have dropped the ball. From
Yeah.
myself, I will ask you to forgive me.
Yeah.
Okay, forgive me for dropping the ball on you guys, and for
Yeah.
not showing you, hey, this is how you can do it, but
Yeah.
don't forget the practical application of this.
Right.
you
Right.
know
Right. And
and
that
we,
goes back to the expectation we were talking about earlier.
yeah,
You know what? We neglected Facebook, and I never neglect Facebook. Jeanette Moore Hall says, so happy to be here in attendance tonight. Hello, Crystal Ann Hale. Her wonderful husband was in the chat here on YouTube a few minutes ago. Sir Hale speaks. She says, millennial in the house. And then she says, born in 1985, we grew up in the 1990s. I remember the crack epidemic, AIDS epidemic, school shootings, cops, brutality. And she also says, the end of school segregation, redlining, teen pregnancy, Ebola, Rodney King, and dot-com boom, cell phone dial, and broadband and fiber. That's a lot, and that is so true. That is so true. And Jeanette says, yes, the younger people, they have a voice to make a difference. And then Crystal says, from the church view, the mega church uprise, crusades, etc. Jeanette says, the baby boomers are fading out. Yes, please, to move forward and more outspoken. Yes, because they don't have respect. They don't respect, but also got to know that we have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And that's from Facebook, the people viewing in Facebook. And that is so true. We've touched on that. And so we're almost ready to wrap this up. But I want to have final comments, and I want to hear a little bit more on what you guys, where you're headed. What do you need? What, like, I know OnStar said what he said. You know me, I've worked with the youth for over, oh my God, the singer/youth/counselor, however you want to put it. I've had all types of youth programs. In North Carolina, I had a staff of 35 people working with the youth, but you need more than one person, right? And I taught them this, I taught them that, I was giving them tools and everything. But we need more people to bring in. We need these programs, and the money is not coming to our communities like it's supposed to, right? If the money will come to the communities, because a lot of people I know have community programs, and they're fighting for these grants. They're fighting for this money to do these programs, but we know how the system is made sometimes to bypass certain zip codes, right? And so how do we do what we do? You know, we can only be responsible for what we're responsible, who we're in touch with. You know, I work with Tare. He is my artist. His mom, I didn't say earlier, is up in the little corner there. Kathy is Tare's mom. She raised him with principles, values, and that's why he was talking about, he wasn't consumed with internet and stuff like that, because his house, there were guidelines, there was structure in his house, there was structure. He was still free to do and be, but there still was structure, and it pays off, right? But a lot of children didn't have that, right? And a lot of children still don't have that. So we have to be accountable in doing things like this. Someone said in these YouTube streets, well, young people gonna come here and listen to us talk, because whether you know it or not, YouTube is taking over. It really is merging a lot of cable stuff out of the way. YouTube is very popular. People love to come to YouTube because the conversations are rich, and you can do what you want to do. You can say certain things, and you can empower people. It's a platform to empower. And that's what this channel is about: empower, enriching, finding out what's in your heart. Do you need help? How can we help? Who can I refer you to? Right? I can only give you such as I have, right? I can only take you where I've been. But what I don't have, I can connect you with Kathy. I can connect you with a Mary. I can connect you with a C. Reggie Rogers. This man here is so powerful in relationships. His mindset and what God has given him to help people in relationships, whether you're young, old, whatever. He has jewels. He has all types of things he hasn't even tapped into with me yet. But as you hear him speak, you can hear where his head is, right? You can see he can go for a minute, right? But these platforms are to really help enrich and enlighten and to fix brokenness, right? To go to people who are broken on the inside and kind of plug up the holes with information and with love and understanding and no judgment. Absolutely no judgment. So I want to yield the floor now, because we're getting ready to wrap up. We're going to have to do this again when OnStar is back on this turf, or in a place where his internet, because I think the conversation would be great to have Tare and Adisa and OnStar and a couple of others that they rock with, and have this conversation so it'll be on YouTube, and then the young people can say, oh, yo, let me go. Oh, yeah. And then it'll trigger, because these things stay on for a long time. They're not going anywhere. So I think this should trigger something. hint, 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 hint. This should trigger something in in Tadre and Adisa, and and the people that you are involved with, because you guys are influencers. You have a lot of people, you have their ear. Do more. Just think of creative ways to empower the community on another level now. I want to give the last word. I want to yield the floor to see Reggie to give last words to this conversation. All of you in the chat, listen, thank you so much on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. I don't know what to say, but before we do that, let me just play this real quick. So I need to put this up just for a second. You guys don't have to move, but I need to put this up just because I do. And it'll take a couple of seconds, and then we'll get back to closing statements. And let me just drop this real quick. So some of you know that I wear that hat, been doing it over 30 years. I know I'm called to people, but I'm really called to women, right? Why, you ask? Because I'm a woman and I've passed through so much. Notice I said pass through. That means I'm not stuck nowhere, right? So it's so much in me to give. And this is my heartbeat, to speak to women, to help women, young girls, women, men as well. But my lane is women. And so I had to play that piece. If anyone out there is looking for any help to talk in a confidential space, no judgment, just reach out to me. And at Sheila Ingram, Sheila, I always do the Sheila Ingram, Bravo with Sheila, at gmail.com. And anyway, I want last words. See Reggie Rogers, jump in, brother.
Hey, Sheila, let me commend you by allowing this platform to for people to see and hear. I think this is a great platform that you've created. That this platform, to bring these young people as well as us older. It's more seasoned. I don't like to call myself old. I'm seasoned. As well, as well as us more seasoned people. Bring us all together.
Yes.
But the more that you do this, I think what happens is small changes at first can create a big change over time.
Amen.
And I think that's extremely important that we grasp that, because it's the small positive things done often that really make the difference.
Amen. Well, maybe we'll keep doing it, Reg.
And you should, because
I said we. I said we.
We should. We should. Okay. Let me tell you how much I must adore you. I was in New Hampshire this morning. By midday, I was in Denver. I'm in Utah right now, and I made it my business to make sure I got on this call as soon as I got in this hotel room. So,
I love you. I love you so much. You always got my back. I love you so much. I know you all over the map, all over the globe, but thank you. You are a jewel. I'm not letting you go. I told you that when I first started talking to you, because what you give empowers, right? What you offer is from your heart and from your experience. And I appreciate you so, so very much. So, you know me, I always at the end of our broadcast, when you're on, I say, I'll be calling you. I'll be sending you a little text. Sooner than you think. All right, let's go with Mary. Mary says that she has a book, 40 Acres and a Mule. Won't do retirement is not an age, but a financial number. There's her book. She wanted me to shout that out. Those of you can reach Mary, have last words, and give them your handle, Mary. You're on mute.
I can be reached at Mary Hall Caesar at yahoo.com. And the book itself, it speaks about the 40 acres and a mule that we were supposed to have gotten. But in actual reality, we were only promised the 40 acres. But since we didn't get it, what do we do from there? What do
Mm.
we do now? And it is a financial book broken down into easy to read concepts, and it's interactive, meaning you there are work that you have to do, but it's broken down in a way where anybody and everybody can understand it. Okay? It is sold out on Amazon twice,
Hmm.
and it's actually published under the name of Lashandra Caesar. Lashaundra.
All
That's the
right.
first name. Last name is Caesar, Caesar. And she's someone who retired at the age of 52.
Okay. Well,
So
thank
she
you for
knows what she's
sharing that.
talking about. Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
So when my millennials and my every generation after that, when you guys want to retire and you want to say, I don't want to work for you anymore, I don't want to do this anymore, make sure you have that slush fund in
Yep.
place, you know? And
Slush
it's for us baby boomers.
fund. Thank you for being here, Mary. You know I love you and I appreciate you. You're always well. All I have to do is call, and the next time we're gonna talk, I'm gonna let you read some poetry. Her poetry is dope, as y'all say. Dope. See, I talk like the Gen Zs and the millennials. I'm not gonna get old. I keep telling y'all I'm not gonna be put in a box or in a rocking chair, or that's not gonna happen. And
No,
if you
that's
see
right.
me slipping, come and tap me on my shoulder and say, "What happened?"
Yes, ma'am.
Come on, Kathy, give us the last words.
Um, my words is that I respect the millennials. I respect the Gen Z, the X, and I think that we all need to understand respect. Respect is not just something, as we all know, not just given, it's something that also has to be received. And respect is having a line of communication open so that everyone can be on the same stage. We can all be on the on the same stage in different levels,
Yeah,
but at the same time it's the same platform. But
that's
just
awesome.
listen, baby boomers just have to listen sometimes and allow these young folks to do what they do. You
I
have
agree. I
yeah,
agree. I
yeah,
totally agree. That's well said.
yeah.
All right. Adisa, last words.
So yes, I want to thank you so much for having me on this platform. Like I literally just got back in. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this because I just feel like this is something important, and I never really been a part of something like this, like a talk with boomers, millennials, and all of that. So I really do appreciate you for having me. And yeah, I would say my final take is like, I'm trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm a millennial. I feel like I'm at this stage where it's like I got it, not really trying to figure it out. So I would just appreciate, things like this, like talking to me and, putting me on and making sure I'm educated with whatever I do. Yeah. So
We got you. We got you. We got them, Cat.
That
We
was nice.
got you.
That was
We
nice.
got you. And so I saved the last for my superstar, right? He's my superstar. He's our superstar. We call him Tare. And this young man, I can't start boasting on him right now. But before I say let him go, we're going to say to OnStar, we love you. We saw you tried so hard. Nephew, you tried so hard. And so we're going to get you back in a minute, though. We're going to have you stationary with a good internet where we could chop it up on a whole nother level and just keep this conversation going and spin it and spin it and spin it and get people draw your age bracket to YouTube, to that channel, that particular channel. I just see it becoming you guys' channel and just having these conversations. I know you on IG. I know the gram is hot and everything, but this is a whole nother movement over here in these YouTube streets. So y'all gonna have to come over here and join me on these YouTube streets. So my dear Tydre, I want last words from you. And I want you to say a yes. I see you shaking your head, so I know you already gonna. When I call on you guys again, we're gonna put this thing together, and we're gonna just do it at least once a week. Draw all the people. You have all your karaoke, your rooftop people, all those people you're connected to. Get them to talk so we can influence and empower your people. Last words, Tydre.
Well, before I even go, I wanted Adisa to say her at and where to
Yeah,
find
do your handle. I'm sorry.
what you do and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh
absolutely. Do your
yeah,
handle.
hey guys. So my name is Adisa Kamagate. I am a rapper, dancer, hairstylist, everything. I'm on Instagram at Didiami Didiami
Say that again
underscore.
slower. Say
Oh,
that again
sorry,
slower.
Didiami underscore. Yeah, so I'm gonna be like, I'm a rap icon. So you gonna hear about me real soon. You're gonna hear about me tomorrow on BT. You feel me?
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I do.
Bravo to you, Adisa. Tidre, your girlfriend just now you gotta outdo her. You're gonna have to top that. That's a hard act to follow.
I'm in no competition, man. I bow every time. Um, I guess the last thing I'll say, short and sweet, is for generations before millennials is to look at us with no judgment. Um, I obviously, yes, we do lack in some things that you guys built um, yeah, livelihoods on and things like that nature. As far as, like you said earlier, Sheila, on how to tie a tie a tie, or how to proper table etiquette, um, or even just how to speak to your parents and elderly folks. Yes, we do uh, fall short of that. Um, but as far as everything else, I just, I think the best thing we can do is just have no judgment when it comes to helping us. I think productive criticism, or productive feedback instead of criticism, um, and scrutinizing would obviously benefit and blend that bridge, between generations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and lastly, don't, which is something that I always see, especially being with me working, um, you know, in after school and summer camp with kids and stuff, is don't quiet, don't shut down the voices of
Mm,
these, my generation and the younger generations.
mm,
Actually listen without, um, that filter on, um,
mhm.
and just fully listen to grasp what we are saying, um, because that's how progress is made, is through communication. So um, it's not always us trying to correct you. Sometimes it is literally just us giving our knowledge,
Mhm.
on top of the years of knowledge that you guys already have. And it's the same thing for our generation as well. Being open to hearing, what you guys have been through and blending it all together. I think
Yeah.
that's where we all generations lack in progress. But with that, I go by Tydre, Tydre, as it's spelled on everything. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple Music, whatever, Spotify, whatever you use, TikTok. If you want some funny videos, you want to laugh, I don't know. I also, host silent discos with my brother Todd Shadow. Um, we also host karaoke's at Roses at Park in the Bronx, Mott Haven, which was named one of the best karaoke's in New York City by New York Magazine. Um, and yeah, I just have a lot of things that I
Yeah.
can't say right now coming, but all great things.
You're
Millennials are
doing your
hustlers.
thing. Yeah.
Multiple incomes, multiple incomes. That's what we.
Multiple. Bravo. Bravo to you guys. Bravo to you, the panel. Bravo to Facebook and YouTube. Listen, we're going to get out of here, but it's been awesome. Stay tuned for more next week. We're going to be talking next Tuesday. The show is going to be on, what are we doing Tuesday? We're doing women, young women who are raising the bar from Harlem, New York. Women that are doing some real strong, powerful corporate, all types of school teachers, principals, you name it. That's what we're doing on Tuesday, next Tuesday. And after that, we're going to be doing the Church Hurt series part two. So, the content, I'm continuously trying to give good content and do things to empower women and empower people in general. So I thank the Bravettes for being here, those that are on Facebook and on YouTube, and my brave bros. I done gave y'all some names, right? I got some brothers. And I really, really appreciate your presence. Remember that when nothing, don't move, guys, because I'm getting ready to close, but just stay for a second. When nothing changes, and you always have to keep it moving. If you have not hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit the button. And definitely, when I come over here, I better see some thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So anyway, good night, take care, and I'll see you. Ciao.